got a phone call this week, as a matter of fact, from the Republican Party. And the nature of the call was, we really were trying to get people re-engaged in the party. Well, I'm a registered Republican, and I don't plan to change that anytime soon. Bob Ellis, how about you?
I don't have any plans on changing it, although other opportunities sometimes look tempting.
You know, part of this phone call dealt with the assertion that the time to disagree is in the primary, and when the primary is over, you have to all come together and stop fighting. Well, the translation of that seems to be after the establishment candidate wins, you are supposed to surrender your principles.
Yeah.
Am I close?
That's what's given to us anyway by the establishment.
You and I talked a little bit off camera, Bob, about how it's sometimes frustrating holding these wayward Republicans accountable because it's a never-ending job.
It is, unfortunately. The list just seems to go on and on of the betrayals of Republican values. That may be in policy positions that they take publicly. It may be in votes that we see in the legislature or in Washington, D.C. in the Congress, but it just never seems to end.
Well, what's the solution to that problem?
Well, I'm not sure. Obviously, we've been trying a number of things for the last few years. Our involvement with the Tea Party certainly, I think, has helped us make some gains. We've seen things...
Well, but now Mitch McConnell is going to crush the Tea Party.
Yeah, and there is a lot of pushback from the establishment Republicans, both here in the state and at the national level, against conservatives, against Tea Party people. So we're really seeing the battle heat up.
Well, I don't think that it's going to cool off anytime soon. You see, I saw in the news John McCain is considering running again for U.S. Senate. Well, he's considering it because his approval rating in his home state is like 30% or so.
Yeah, and he was censured, I believe, a couple months ago or a little bit longer by his own state party for his betrayal of Republican values. Hopefully that would make him stop and think.
You know, I suggested that to, and I cited that example to the caller from our local Republican Party. And when he said we need to stop fighting, and I said, well, what about the party platform, for heaven's sakes? Why don't Republicans in the Midwest, North and South Dakota, Minnesota, other states around us, why won't Republican parties, even county parties, censure Republicans who refuse to adhere to the state party platform?
We really should do that. I mean, if you were in a group, let's say MAD, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and one of your leaders in your group was seen out drinking and driving on more than one occasion, would you as a member of that group just stand by and do nothing while your organization was made to look hypocritical, made to look bad? I don't think so.
No, and it makes me wonder if that censure of John McCain by, was it a state party or the county party?
I believe it was the state party, if I'm not mistaken.
But whichever it was, I wonder how much impact that had on his low approval ratings.
The censure itself?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm sure that the publicity about that helped to spread the word about what he has done and has been doing.
Who has the authority to censure? Could you and I, as a coalition of organizations, issue a censure?
I'm sure we could. It wouldn't have as much authority as if the party itself did it, though, I'm sure.
Maybe that's food for thought. Maybe when South Dakota Republicans refuse to follow their own platform, maybe it's time that organizations were pushing back and demanding that their county chairs and their executive committees issue a public censure of that Republican member.
Well, the party absolutely should be doing that. In fact, they already should have been doing that. I think the main problem with that, the uphill climb, is that most of the leadership that would have to get behind a censure motion like that are the ones that we would most want to censure.
That is indeed a problem. And I guess it just gives us more material for another article, another program.
Yep.
But unfortunately, it's a direction that's all too typical to see these Republican Party members who are in elected office abandoning their own party platforms.
Sadly, it is.
And that's not good for the state, that's not good for the nation.